AfriForum has launched a border patrol unit to monitor the open South Africa-Zimbabwe border in Limpopo's Musina area with sniffer dogs. The initiative comes at a time when government is struggling to keep illegal immigration at bay along the Musina-Pafuri border, where parts of a controversial multi-million rand fence have been damaged. We're now joined on the line by Jaques Brooderyk, campaigns manager for AfriForum, for more on this initiative. Jacques, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us. So South Africa has a border management authority. How then should we understand your initiative in relation to this legally mandated authority?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. I think I should just correct something that you mentioned in your introduction. AfriForum has not launched a border patrol unit. What we've launched is the border initiative, which is a new initiative that will focus on strengthening our already existing civilian safety structures in border areas. So these are our neighborhood watches and farm watches. We deal with cross-border crime on a daily basis and have been doing so for many years. So it's not a new unit. We're just strengthening our efforts to better equip and better resource these volunteers who deal with these issues.
Thank you for that correction. This border initiative, how long has it been in existence?
Well, AfriForum has 155 neighborhood and farm watches countrywide, and the ones in we have had for many years, and the ones in border areas have been dealing with these issues for many years. So the new launch of the Border Watch initiative happened about 2 weeks ago, and this was the result of the tremendous support that we received from the public after we released the documentary film Open Borders, which showcased what our volunteers do to combat cross-border crime. And that just led to a huge outpour of support, and we realized that this is an issue that needs to be addressed on a larger scale.
This cross-border crime that you speak of, that the Border Watch initiative will be dealing with, is that not the mandate of the Border Management Authority and other relevant legal bodies like the South African Police Services, the South African National Defence Force, the Home Affairs Department, for instance?
Yes, it definitely is, but I think we can also be very honest with each other and say that they're clearly failing in their duties. Everything that our patrollers and our neighborhood watchers do are within the confines of the law. They're well-trained volunteers. They do things according to the book. So they play a supporting role, and I think it should be welcomed as it is by police officials and law enforcement officials on the ground.
So there has been no clashes between your members and members of the police or the South African National Defence Forces, who we understand should be manning the borders, if you will?
No, not at all. They work very well together, as you will also see if you watch the documentary Open Borders.
Let's speak about that documentary. So you walk us through, the Musina border. So tell us why it is that you maybe chose Zimbabwe of all countries that surround South Africa.
Well, the reason this is the first installment. We're busy producing more installments that will focus on different border areas, so we're not singling out Zimbabwe. But our Musina Neighborhood Watch has been playing a very effective role in that area, and that's why we decided to showcase what they do. Just to give you an idea, last year between June and September alone, our Neighborhood Watch managed to assist law enforcement in seizing contraband, illegal smuggled contraband with more than 12 million rand. So they're clearly making a big difference in that area. According to information that we've received, we also know that at least 2 of these syndicates have been put out of business because of our safety structures involvement there. So they're definitely doing a very good job, and they're very effective, and that's why we decided to showcase that.
So you are looking at cross-border crime. Just define that for us, right? Because you also have people that would want to cross into South Africa, as you outline in your documentary, for various reasons. Are those people also targeted by the group, or are you focusing specifically on crime? You mentioned the movement of cars in the documentary. You mentioned the arms. So are you also looking at people who would then be seeking to enter South Africa?
No, not specifically. If our patrols happen to be patrolling on private property and someone crosses over illegally into that property for whichever reason, then they will be stopped, and the law enforcement will be called in to take over control of the scene. But no, there's no specific focus on illegal immigrants. The big problem what we have is when we have a lackly policed border, as we do at the moment, it just opens the gates for all kinds of crime. So as we say, to the smuggling of cigarettes, farm attacks, stock theft, vehicle theft, and it's just general mayhem. To give you an idea, the farmers in that area, one specific guy I spoke to, he needs to mend his game fences every morning. He needs to mend them in between 8 to 10 different places, as smuggling groups just cut the fences and pass through his property. And not just smuggling, on the way smuggling, they also help themselves to whatever they can find, whether it be cattle or a game or electric pumps or cables. So that's where our neighborhood watch and our farm watch structures play a very effective role.
Much has been said about South Africa having porous borders. I guess maybe for the benefit of a viewer that has not seen the documentary, just walk us through that.
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of issues. First of all, the border fence is non-existent. We know that the government recently spent 40 million rand to upgrade this fence. But when you walk around and you look at what this money was spent on, it really does leave you frustrated because it's dilapidated. Critics have often referred to it as a washing line, and I think it's a very apt description. So there is one of our first problems. The second problem is that the police and law enforcement officials, including the military on the ground there, who are trying to do the job, because we know there are still a lot of members who are very committed and trying to do the best they can. They are simply overwhelmed. They're outnumbered, they're under-resourced, and there definitely doesn't seem to be any political will to strengthen these guys to effectively police these borders. So if you know where to drive, you can stop there anyway in the middle of the day, and you can see people just randomly crossing the river to and fro from Zimbabwe and South Africa. It's a very obvious thing, and the lawlessness is very blatant.
Jaques Brooderyk, Campaigns Manager for AfriForum. Thank you for your time.